Hello and welcome. I'm Nicole with Evergreen Certifications, and we are so excited today to be talking about the C-MLD certifications with MLD Institute founder Elisa DiFalco.
Thank you. Thank you, Nicole, for the introduction. Welcome, everyone. Wow. This is our first opportunity to bring this certification out to you. It's the C-MLD, and we're going to be talking about what all of you are talking about and have been asking and sending emails about, which is what is the difference between C-MLD and some of the other certifications, so you know what you're taking and how it applies to your practice. And just before we get started, I want to let you know that research in the past 5 years done by University of Virginia has just really promulgated manual lymph drainage to its highest heights. We're seeing MLD for CTE, for professional sports, for pre and post-op, for hip replacements, for autoimmune disease, and of course, COVID. Wow, that's a lot. So stay tuned. We want to answer your questions. So Nicole, do you have one that you want to ask first, and that maybe I can give them some guidance?
Yes, absolutely. So we were very excited to work with your institute to create this certification. We know manual lymph drainage is something that is really needed out there, and proper education and training for professionals, and wanting to build a credible certification and working with your institute to do that. We were very excited to build this and get this out there for professionals. So what if you had to pick the one thing that really sets this certification apart from anything else, and why professionals really need to get the C-MLD certification from Evergreen, what would be that one distinguishing factor?
That's a good question, and this is a pretty easy one. Okay, everybody out there watching, how many of your clients have a lymph system? Okay, if they're alive, they have one, which means this is very user-friendly from childhood until late in adult years. We've worked on children as young as 2 days old up to people over 100. So yeah, hospice, post-op, pregnancy, sports, pain management, you name it, you have a modality that goes with you. And you don't have to spend a lot of money on it either, which is wonderful when you own a facility. I know I own mine, and many of you want to express that you have one or want to. And how do you do that? How do you help so many people and keep the costs down and yet be effective? And this is one of the ways that will help you. But you gotta have that C-MLD. Everyone asks me, can I just take a class? And you could, but referrals. If you want referrals from doctors, they're looking to see that you have that background, that you actually know all the things, all the steps from pregnancy and birth all the way to the end stages and even into hospice. Do you know all the protocols to work with this large population, which is basically everyone? At some point in your life, you, me, and everyone needs this.
Absolutely.
So,
Well,
answer
and speaking,
the question.
absolutely. And yeah, speaking of kind of, keeping those costs in mind, that was one of the other things that we were excited about is as Evergreen partnering with PESI with your course, that we added as a bonus that certification fee was just packaged right into that course. So it's nice that it's an all-in-one package for clinicians to just purchase that, and then they get the certification. They take the self-paced on-demand training, and then once that's completed, they can come through to get certified after that.
I'm taking this class, everybody. It wasn't here 20 years ago. Wow.
Yes. And actually, we just had a really great question that just came in about what is the difference between Evergreen's C-MLD certification and the C-MLD-T certification.
Okay, so C-MLD is going to cover a larger population than C-MLD-T. It also gives you the step up to our next, this is kind of preview of coming attractions, but we will have a master's class we're already working on, and you will need the C-MLD to go on to those higher levels. And yeah, now is the time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for that question, Gina. That was really great timing.
Yeah, it was good timing, Gina. A lot of people don't realize that when COVID hit, we were also hit by a tsunami of doctors trying to send patients, and they didn't know where to send them because they only knew of, manual lymph drainage as far as lymphedema was concerned. They didn't know the practitioners who had taken this coursework that they can actually work with them if they're long haulers. So timing means everything, and so does your certification. Good question. All right.
All right, move on to our next question here for Lisa. So how does somebody maintain their certification? And actually, I can jump right into that. That's more of an evergreen question than your question. So your initial certification is good for 2 years. So once you go through that training and come through to get certified, you are certified with Evergreen for 2 years. And then you just renew on a biannual cycle. So you take 12 more CE credits in MLD topics to keep up with your certification. So that's one of the important aspects of this, is that you're maintaining that education. This isn't just taking that initial training once and then you're good to go. This is maintaining that professional development and staying current and up to date on what's new and where the field is going. So it's really important to continue to take those classes and keep up with your certification.
Yes, in fact, you said it well, Nicole, that we already have 3 classes that are master level classes. Very important, I think, that people, when you look at CEs, you don't want to take the same thing over and over. You've got to move on. That's the whole point of continuing education, is to keep you continually moving forward. And so has knowledge, and so has research. And that is one of the issues. When we work with PESI, it's to bring what's coming, what's on the horizon, not what's 20 years ago. This is all new and recent information that you can use today in your practice. And we get lots of thank yous every week from our PESI audience. And I want to thank you too, while you're here, if anybody is listening that's taken the course. Thank you for your comments and how practical it is for you.
Absolutely. All right, I think we are ready for our next question. So another great question. Where is there the need for MLD certified clinicians? I know you mentioned everybody has a lymph system, right? But is there a specific area that there's a need for these certified clinicians more than other areas?
Yes, Nicole, it has expanded. So we're getting a lot more with the autoimmune. We're getting a lot more neurologists people are surprised. You have to keep your eyes open here at PESI, because we'll be telling you about neurologists, vascular surgeons. Guys, listen. Hey, just because the vascular system is, it's one issue. You also have the lymph system. So, if you have a vein issue, you have a lymph issue. If you have a lymph issue, you probably have a vein issue. And people don't realize that. Why do some people's legs look red and purple? Well, it could be that there's pressure from the lymph system on those veins, and vice versa. Sometimes it's the veins that are out of line and putting pressure on the lymph system. So long story short, we're getting a lot more vascular surgery that's coming our way. We're also getting doctors of ophthalmology because of glaucoma and eye issues.
That's great to hear that it's so broad reaching.
Yes.
All right. So I think we kind of touched on this a little bit before about how many people need lymph system treatment, but are there certain populations? I know everybody has a lymph system, right? But are there certain populations where this is more prevalent than others?
There is. If you look at multiple sclerosis or Parkinson's disease, some of these would be the diseases that are currently being under investigation. Central nervous system disorders. That's why we got the neurologist in there. And in fact, you may just be hearing for the first time right now the word glymphatic. If you haven't heard the word glymphatic, it's because we didn't really have that in our medical textbooks in recent years until we realized there were lymph vessels in the brain, and they affect all the diseases of that central nervous system. So don't be surprised if you start getting referrals for Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis, cerebral palsy, and we have seen tremendous outcomes.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And really appreciate you sharing all of that info. And it sounds like if people want more information, that taking your course and applying for the certification would probably be a great next step to really learning more about MLD and how this can be implemented in your own clinic or practice where you work. And as Lisa mentioned before, we are currently working on an advanced certification. So a little bit of a teaser that's coming. So if anybody is joining us who has already gone through the process, taken the course and gotten certified, stay tuned because we will have an advanced level certification that's coming. So once you have your C-MLD, then you'll be able to move on to that advanced certification.
Yes. And like I said, we have doctors. It's nice because PESI has a list of all those certified therapists, and that helps make it easier for the doctors to find you, because that's the other thing at the end of the day is you take a class, you want to make sure that you're getting the marketing out there. So we do part of that, and PESI does part of that to make sure the doctors find you.
Yeah, and I'll clarify on that one. Evergreen actually has a registry, so it's through Evergreen, not PESI, where once you have your C-MLD certification, that you can get yourself added to the registry. So that's a really great way to market yourself and grow your clinic and practice and get some of those referrals.
I love it.
All right. Well, thank you so much to everybody for joining us today. We really appreciate you taking a little bit of time out of your work day. And if you have any more questions, please feel free to reach out to the Evergreen team or the PESI team if it's about the course. And we look forward to getting more of you certified.
Absolutely. So we'll see you. And I hope that you guys come to the next convention too. I got to put that plug in there because we had just a wonderful time with our team. So please come out and support us at PESI when we're out there. Okay.
Yes, at next year's Rehab Summit. So that's next October. All right. Thank you so much.